I have to say that episode 3 of The Executioner and A Way of Life has really assured me of the quality that JC staff is going to be putting on this series. Now, I'm a little bit sad because I kind of wish that they would leave certain things to speculation rather than making it so obvious, but definitely enjoyed this episode. This is my thoughts on episode 3 of The Executioner and A Way of Life, so let's jump right into it. So the nutshell of what transpired in this episode is essentially having this terrorist group take over this train. It seems like their focus was on kidnapping the princess so that they can essentially force the kingdom to give up their leader, which obviously, as Meno puts it, probably the worst decision possible. Like, bad luck for them. No, I think it was Momo that said that. Like, super bad luck for them to choose this train to do this on, because not only is a princess well in her own power to be able to take care of herself, but you also have the 2 priestesses that are actually on this train. But the kind of side stories we're going to get from this episode is obviously getting a little more into the princess and what her goal seems to be. I was kind of hinting at it with the whole aspect of her getting on that train. She obviously was going to go to the headquarters of the Faust, and she seems to have some sort of bone to pick with them. She specifically mentions to Momo that she was aware of what her father was doing, and she seems really set on finding the 2 summons. My assumption is that it seems like she's indicating that she's after these 2 summons, and she's pointing out, well, obviously, since you're coming from that place, apparently the Faust executioners have taken out their targets, and that's, of course, when we find out, apparently the executioners are supposed to be a secret thing. I guess that makes sense because they're kind of like assassins, so you don't really want anybody to know who they are, but I guess it wasn't really made clear in the first 2 episodes that the executioners are kind of a secret. They're not supposed to be publicly known that they're doing this. Obviously, the summoning itself is taboo and not supposed to happen, so I guess the aspect of taking out said summons is supposed to be kept a secret. But additionally, they hinted at a reset that happened. So this is kind of an expansion of what we've kind of seen with Akari, in the idea that with the first 2 episodes, we kind of got a hint that Akari can essentially trigger a reset upon her own self to revive her. It seems like when she died, her magic automatically triggered, which essentially reset herself to heal her. But we haven't really got an idea that she can essentially reset everything, and that's going to be the big sticking point for this particular episode. And again, I kind of wish that they just kind of left it vague. But yeah, when this point in which Meno is fighting this soldier, and when Momo's fighting Ashana, they have a point in which there's like a glitch in time that happens. They're attacking, and then suddenly it's almost as if time shifted a little bit, and they kind of both took note of it. Momo saying that it felt weird or felt nasty or something like that. And like I said, it kind of plainly spells it out at the very end when Meno realizes what would have happened if we didn't stop the train. And it shows this brief clip where everything's just burned and decayed, and Mino's there dead, and Akari's crawling towards Mino, implying that Akari at that point reset it. So the assumption at this point is that Mino failed to fight this thing, failed to stop the train, and they all died. Akari went over, reset the time, and then she came up there to help. So despite Mino claiming that because Akari came there, she had to waste a bunch of ether, which prevented her from being able to do what she wanted to do to stop the core, Meno failed either way. Like, because Akari wasn't there, Meno failed, the train wrecked, Akari reset everything, and then Akari knew that she had to be there with Meno. So that's why she came to the front of the train, because she knew if she didn't get up there, Meno was going to fail, because she already reset time. Now here's the puzzling thing. Here is the speculation point for me. Akari did not know that she died the first time. When Meno killed her, she said that she fell over apparently, and she didn't remember anything. Now granted, the blow to the head that Meno gave her could have been instant death, and so she would not have known that she got killed. But it kind of implied that she didn't remember anything. But if Akari went to the front of the train because Meno failed and she had to reset it, this at this point implies that Akari will remember as long as she's not knocked unconscious or killed. So everything up to the point that Meno failed, the train crashed, Akari reset everything, she knows. Akari knows that Meno failed and that she basically reset everything and knew that she had to be at the front of the train to save Meno or help Meno in some way. But she's going to keep it a secret from Meno because Meno does not want her to use her ability. So obviously she's not going to tell Meno, yeah, everybody died and I had to reset everything. It's not like something she wants to really gloat about, but at the same time, she's afraid of Meno being angry because she used it. So it's kind of starting a process that I'm curious about how this writer's going to play it out, because it's almost implying that there's going to be a lot of points in the storyline where Meno's going to fail and Akari's going to reset it to correct it. Is it always going to be shown from Meno's perspective? that they have some sort of difficulty, a glitch happens at some point, and then they successfully do whatever they need to do, and then we will, from the viewer's perspective, go, yeah, she probably failed. Or is the writer going to have at some point show us all these points in which Akari fixed things? Like, we're going to get to the story, it's going to get to some certain point where Akari is maybe going insane, or they're facing some sort of difficulty and she's telling Meno, I need to reset time, and she won't accept it, that we finally get a picture of, oh yeah, right here, Akari fixed everything. Here, Akari fixed everything. Here, Akari fixed everything. I'm curious if that's how it's going to play out. If it's just going to play out all these scenarios, and eventually we're going to realize that Akari has been fixing a lot of things that Meno has not realized yet. So outside of that whole situation, the other curious thing was what Akari said before Meno left her at the carriage. She said something to the effect of, I don't want to be left behind anymore, which Meno takes notice of, which I'm kind of glad they did because I completely missed it. I missed the comment, and then Meno notes it, and I was like, oh yeah, she said something weird. This kind of plays in two different areas that I'm curious about. With the first two episodes, a lot of emphasis was put on Meno having a dream about being in some school and seeing somebody ahead of her that was her best friend. And it seemed like it was putting a lot of emphasis on that being Akari. Like, this person in her dreams was Akari. Now, I didn't talk about it in my first impressions much because I thought it was pretty obvious, but this story seems to be implying a lot that Meno is an isekai. Like, she was brought to this world at some point, summoned to this world probably by the Faust, which makes sense because the Faust need to have executioners to defeat otherworlders, and how are you going to defeat an otherworlder that's super powerful unless you use other otherworlders? That is a tongue twister. So Meno could be from the same class that Akari was in. And maybe Meno being pulled into this world, she left Akari behind, and Akari forgot about her or something like that. There's something that happened that made her forget. Maybe when people are isekai'd from our world, maybe their existence is erased. But the other direction that this comment takes me to, leave me alone again, maybe it's indicating that this is not the first route. That's the big one. This is, if you ask me what you think the big plot twist will be at the end of the show or some point in this story that's going to blow everybody's mind, that would be it. That's the easiest route that they can take. At some point, Akari will reveal she's already known Meno before. At some point in their journey together, like Akari is not that dumb. Like, she's playing out that she doesn't know what's going on, but there's a reason why she's so emphatic about being with Meno, because she already has known Meno for a long time. And that's going to be the big plot twist, is at some point, some catastrophe happened, and Akari reset everything to the point that she was first summoned so that she can have that journey with Meno once again. Because at some point, something happened that she couldn't fix. And so she decided, I want to reset everything and spend more time with Meno before it all goes to hell again. That's going to be the big crazy plot twist. If you're ever dealing with time like this, that's the direction it's going to go. Eventually, that will be the big reveal. And that makes sense to what Akari said. Either it's going to be because Meno was pulled from her world and she forgot her and so she was alone, or because Akari has already been through all this and everybody left her before. And then she reset time so that everybody would be restored back to this current time when she was first summoned there, using like the fullness of her power. And so everything's playing out again just like she expects it. I'll be very curious to, I guess, observe Akari from this point on. I might even recheck out the second and third episode to see if at some point Akari doesn't react how she should to a situation. Like, something pops up and she's not shocked by it because she knows it's coming already. But again, I don't trust Akari at this point. Because that realization has come to my head, I don't trust her as a character anymore because I'm expecting at some point she's going to reveal that she's just playing a character. Like, she's not wanting anybody to know that she knows what's going on, that she's much more knowledgeable about the situation than she leads on. She's going to play the ditzy character. I'm going to play a character where I don't know what's going on because that's who I should be if this is my first encounter with this world. So I'm going to play the part of being the ditzy person that doesn't realize what's going on. But anyways, yeah, that's my mind going crazy down the rabbit hole, but that's my big theory. Based on that comment, that's my big theory, is that Akari has already reset everything and she knows everybody. She's been around for a long time and nobody knows that this has all been reset. This is a big reset. And yes, the last part of this episode was Momo versus Ashana, which I thought was a really cool scene. I love seeing Momo's ability. She pretty much makes a chainsaw and she can turn it into a sword. She has a chainsaw sword that she can turn into a boomerang. Really interesting, I guess. We also found out that she has a priestess garb, but she's altered it, which makes sense because she made altered gear for Meno before. So all that stuff, she's a seamstress. She knows how to mess with materials and stuff like that, which Ashana really appreciates. Princess likes beautiful and strong things, so Momo fits both those categories. But no, they've been going at it for pretty much the entire episode. They didn't even finish their fight with the end of this episode. So I don't know if they're going to go into the 4th episode still fighting, but they seem to be hitting it off. I mean, Momo doesn't like her, but it seems like Ashana likes her, so more your reaction, I guess. But like I said earlier, Ashana mentions a few things, but she's very vague still. She mentions that she knows about the executioner. Momo doesn't want to admit it. She mentions that she knew that her father did that and that her father summoned something and that she's going to this place where all the Faust are. Now, it seems like she's just implying that she just has a bone to pick with the Faust. Like, the Faust has taken away my father. They're putting him on trial. I just want to get my revenge on the Faust. But it also seems to be implying that she is interested on the summons. So I'm curious if specifically she's looking for Akari. Like, she knows that Akari was summoned. She knows that her father got this girl, and she wants that power. Like, she knows something that Akari can do, and she's seeking that. But the only thing that kind of throws a wrench in that idea and leans me more towards the idea that she just wants revenge is the fact that she claimed that the executioners had already done their job. Because they're on this train, they already executed them, and they're going back home. So it never had any point where she mentioned, but you guys have one of them with you, don't you? Like, where's the girl that you brought? It doesn't imply that she knows that Akari's with them. So we'll see where that goes. But that's, yeah, she's pretty cool. I kind of like Ashana, but I don't want her to hurt Momo. The entire episode, I was afraid Momo was going to get killed or something like that. I really like, Momo's just a spitfire. I really like her so far. At any rate, this video turned out to be a lot longer than I thought it was going to be because I went straight down a rabbit hole with that whole comment that Akari made, and I completely didn't really think about it too much until I got on this video. So it's always fun when I do my impressions video and I just go down a rabbit hole. So yeah, anyways, that's my impressions on the 3rd episode of The Executioner and Her Way of Life. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think I'm on point, or do you guys think that there's something else going on here? Do you think I'm crazy? If you've read the light novel, please don't respond. Don't tell me I'm right or wrong, or if I'm close. Just keep it out of there. I'm not looking for confirmation. This is about fun in speculating, nothing else. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button down below. It definitely helps us out, as well as if you want to support us additionally, we have a link to our Patreon tips link and merch site in the description below. Also, make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you get all my videos. I do have first impressions of all the shows of the season, as well as doing episode by episode impressions on certain shows, as well as news videos, topic videos, top lists. If it's anime, it's here. Thank you all for watching, and y'all take care.